And right now, we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick alongside Alix Steel and Scarlet Fu. We're counting you down to the closing bell. And here to help take us beyond the bell, it's a global simulcast with Massar and Tim Stenovec on this Fed day here. A big rally that we're seeing in the equity markets here. A big rally, believe it or not, in treasuries, leading to a big drop in yields here on this Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, fascinating. We were kind of all counting down to it. No surprise here. We just talked with Sylvia Jablonski over at Defiance ETFs, kind of saying a sweet spot for equities, a soft landing, like it almost feels too good to be true, and I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to see the market reaction. Yeah, we came in a little bit on stocks and we saw yields kind of bounce off their lows, but nonetheless, investors seem to be taking it in stride.
Yeah, but that tone was set at 8:30 this morning with that CPI data that came in. That was exactly what the equity market and the bond market wanted to see, Scarlett, and that set the tone throughout the day today.
Yeah, that was the high watermark for trading volume as well. If you look at average value at time of shares traded, it was really in the morning, and it picked up a little bit right when the FOMC announcement came out, but you didn't get the end of day pop that you typically see. I mean, it's certainly come back from the mid-afternoon, but most of the big news came at 8:30.
And this just goes to what Savita Subramanian said at Bank of America earlier on Bloomberg Television. Things are kind of awesome. It's a straight up Lego movie theme song. It's not totally awesome, but it's kind of awesome. And that's exactly what I feel like the theme was throughout Jay Powell's press conference. And that's sort of how the equity market seemed to react.
This kind of gets us back to that question. Is this really kind of that Goldilocks scenario, at least in the short term here? The market seems to be pricing that in here. And I do have to go back here. That a lot of this, what we're seeing in the market today, the gains that you're seeing on the screen there, a lot of this was priced in long before we got that Fed statement, long before Jay Powell took the stage. A CPI report really emboldening the bulls here on this Wednesday afternoon. The S&P 500 at a record 5420 and change right now as we wait for these numbers to settle. That's roughly about 46 points higher than where it was yesterday, 0.9% on the day. The NASDAQ composite up more than 200 points, or about 1.5%. The Dow is actually your laggard here on the day. It's going to finish the day in the red, but only by about 0.1%. And the Russell 2000, which has basically been leading the market for a good portion of the day, up on the day by 1.6%.
Can I just point out that the S&P 500 off that late December 2023 low is up almost 32%. So talk about the move to the upside. Having said that, in today's trade, I know Tim was having a hard time finding some of the decliners, but we had kind of an even split. If I look at the trade, it looks like 297 names in the S&P 500, Scarlett, to the upside, 205 showing some declines in the trade.
All right, let's show you how that plays out in terms of sector performances. You split the S&P 500 up into 11 industry groups. Because tech is the most heaviest weighted group, it's the biggest slice of the pie. That group up 2.5% thanks to Oracle. Industrials and consumer discretionary also gaining about 1%. On the downside, your laggards are energy stocks led by Valero, consumer staples, and utilities losing about 2/3%.
You have a cold.
A little bit.
Are you okay?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Did I give you my plague?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
COVID's going around, so I hear.
Please don't say that.
I know. All right, let's get to some of the individual gainers, if we may. Oracle, man, a standout. We were breaking it all down late yesterday after the closing bell here, on the closing bell, if you will. The stock up, as we said, more than 13%, hitting a record. Earnings last night reported better than expected bookings, announced partnerships, deals with tech rivals, so giving a boost to Larry Ellison's efforts to redefine the software maker as a major competitor in the business of cloud computing, but investors really buying into that one. Apple, again, continuing to build on yesterday's gain of more than 7%, another 2.9% to the upside, another record close, so back-to-back on that one. A top name in the NASDAQ 100, overtaking Microsoft in market cap. iPhone maker regaining its title as the world's largest stock amid growing optimism AI will spur a rebound in revenue growth. AI, anyone? Pretty exciting. Affirm, again, up 11% yesterday, up another nearly 6%. Related to Apple, that after the buy now, pay later company said its payment products were expected to be available to U.S. Apple Pay users this year. And I got to just mention Tesla, if I can. A lot going on. Stock up about 3.9%. Kathy Wood setting a new $2,600 price target for 2029. Stock closing at $177.
I'm sorry, for what year?
2029.
Okay.
Don't go there.
Okay. I kind of want to go there, but sure. We'll move on.
You'll go there in a robo-taxi, Romaine, whether you'd like to or not.
I'm going to mark this on my calendar right now.
Well, Mark,
little Google alert for
Mark,
5
also
years
tomorrow on your calendar, because you have got shareholders again, investors voting on that $56 billion pay package for Elon Musk. Over to you.
Okay, so it was just tough to find, full disclosure, decliners with a good story
really
today.
hard.
So bear with me here when I talk about Lululemon down 2.6%. 0.6%. It is in the S&P 500, not the worst performer on a percentage basis in the S&P 500, but kind of up there. They fell, shares that is, after Randall Koenig over at Jefferies said a recent visit to a UK store revealed ample discounting. It adds to the view that performance has peaked.
I've never seen that
in
anymore.
I just bought something from Lululemon.
Well, nothing.
This
And
week.
was it on sale?
No, I paid full price.
You know why?
And I feel like I should return it.
No, you go to the UK.
You got
buy
to
from
fly
there.
to the UK.
Sure, why
You
not?
got to fly to the UK.
Yeah.
And go to the UK store.
Yeah.
And get the discount there.
Okay. Now, do they let me in?
Ample discounting,
Okay.
at least according to this Jefferies analyst. And I guess that's probably a reason why shares are lower, because there are never sales there. So there's a reason that he says investors should be a little bit concerned. He did say there was significant inventory outside of Lululemon's core colors,
They do
which
have a
suggests
sale
to
rack
him
that's
that
often like these off
fashion
weird
risk
things. Like, I'm
remains
just gonna
elevated.
put that out, but go ahead.
I have not been to a store in years.
Sorry.
All right, monthly
Any store?
beverage.
Wow, you're a man of the people,
We're all a
Tim.
little Fed
You just have all
crazy
your
today.
minions do your shopping for you.
I just order it all online. Yeah, I just order it all online.
You should see they just bring it to his desk every
Beverage
day.
theme for the remainder of my decliners. Monster Beverage down 2.7% today. It actually fell
there's a
intraday
theme.
to the lowest going back to October 24th. We saw Roth MKM analyst Sean McGowan reducing his price target from $59 to $56. It reflects the concern of slowing growth for its U.S. core energy drink sales, as reflected in recent Nielsen and Circana scan data, according to the analyst. Actually, a similar story over at Celsius. This was a recent decliner for me, down another day. Fell earlier in the session, more than 5%. Ended up finishing the day lower by more than 6%. This was its lowest intraday in months. Analysts reduced their estimate for the energy drink maker after it said that at a conference on Tuesday that PepsiCo further reduced Celsius inventories. They are, of course, a distributor for Celsius.
I see your theme. I get it. You got
Thank
sports,
you.
you got the sports beverage, and then you got the energy drinks. I got you, Tim. I got you.
Thank you,
All right.
Alex.
Let's take a look at the bond market here. No surprise, you saw buying all across the curve. You have yields lower. Now, when CPI came out, we saw a big move lower in yields, a gap down by about 14 basis points on the front end, and then now we're kind of half round tripped back up to yields just down by about 7 basis points. But it's been a pretty monster rally for the bond market over the last few days.
Yeah, the big moves to the downside on those yields now, it raises the question here as to just how much of Fed easing the market will feel comfortable pricing in. And there's still a little bit of a disconnect between what we saw on the dot plots and what we're seeing right now, both in the bond and in the options market.
Yeah, not like we've never seen that before. All I would say is that we're going to get more data points. We're going to get Fed speak. And I do feel like, Scarlett, we're going to start seeing things kind of, jump around. We've heard this from our rates team here, that a lot of volatility. I mean, this is what we've seen in the rates market, and it's probably going to continue.
So now that they have one rate cut projection in the dot plot, are we in agreement here that September is the only logical choice? Because it can't be anything after November, right?
I'm not gaming that. I have no
December.
idea.
I mean, Ira did
after
say
November?
that. Ira did say that waiting until after the election and
Yeah,
only
because
waiting
isn't the
5
Fed
bucks.
meeting right after the election? Like a
Yeah,
day
November
after or
7th.
something?
They moved
Yeah.
it to
November 7th, yeah.
Thursday as a result of the election.
it's a Thursday.
So it wouldn't
Interesting.
actually fall on election day.
Okay.
But Ira Jersey just said to us, waiting 6 weeks after when they should actually do a rate cut in the greater scheme of things is not actually that big of a deal.
Yeah, particularly if it's just like a 25 basis points,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Well, I think then that goes to the point. Do you get one, and then you get a bunch of them coming after in different meetings? Or do you wait for a longer period of time? Or do you do one and then you have a big gap? Like how that structure looks. The ECB is doing the one and a gap. What does the Fed wind up doing?
Assuming, too, we have an outcome on that November election.
Carol.
All right.
Yeah.
So
That was a great moment. That was a great silence.
Yeah,
Like,
thanks,
no one
Carol.
wants to
Thanks
talk
for
about
going
that,
so
Carol.
dark there. Yeah, sure, why not?
all right, so let's go to something. We can't really control all of this, but we can report on it. Something that we can kind of control is maybe something we want to get, for our dads that are out there or men in our lives. There's a new cologne. Apparently, it's a collaboration between Pepsi and Chef Bobby Flay.
What?
It's called Smoked. It's a combination, a scent combination of Pepsi, smoked, spice, caramel, citrus, and more. So
What? Who asked for
smoky and
this?
flame fired. You know you want this.
I mean, I kind of do, but still, I'm kind of disgusted by it as well.
Yummy.
Can I be disgusted and intrigued? Is that possible?
Because they have like the scent things where you can, put the scent thing in and like put it in the kitchen versus cologne. Like I don't want to.
Okay, there
As
you
in
go.
like an air
Bug
freshener?
someone.
Apparently,
No,
this
like
is more
the-
of a Mother's Day gift for
calling
Alex.
it-
No,
than
like
a
the
Father's
sticks.
Day
You
gift.
put a stick in the
Cola
liquid, and then it has the
You want
scent.
to put this on your body? You want to smell like Pepsi?
I don't. That's why I want to put it in like a air freshener
No, there's
thingy in the kitchen.
spice and caramel and citrus.
I was just reading the other day that Dr. Pepper actually overtook Pepsi. As the
I
number
read that
2
too,
cola
yeah.
brand.
Yeah, it's huge, right?
So is this Pepsi's last gasp here? I wouldn't mind smelling like Dr. Pepper.
Really?
Yeah.
You
Or
are
Fanta.
one weird dude.
No. A
Remember
no to
Fanta?
all of
I don't
that.
want to smell like any
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
Can we go
Why
back
not?
to Lulu shopping?
Oh,
All
wait till
right.
tomorrow's show, Alex. I'm going to reek.
They're going to be sending us bottles as we speak. All right, guys, that is a wrap. Our cross-platform coverage, our Fed Day cross-platform coverage, radio, TV, YouTube, Bloomberg Originals. We call it the closing bell. We will see you again, same time, same place tomorrow.